Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here tonight with your AEW Revolution review on Sunday, March 7th, 2021. I got a lot to say on this pay-per-view, and I'm going to try to make it under 30 minutes so that I'm not here all night and I can get some sleep because I am tired. I am pretty tired from tonight. I thought this was a very good pay-per-view. I thought tonight Revolution was a very good pay-per-view overall. We had a lot of great moments. Christian Cage is all elite. All ego Ethan Page is all elite. The final two matches were absolutely fantastic. The ladder match was very fun. The opening match was a great match. The rest of the show, the women's match was pretty good too. The rest of the show, it was just there. Not everything was a home run. At some points of the show, it felt like the show was dragging a little bit. I don't know if it's just me, but it felt like during the Matt Hardy Hangman Page match, that match was dragging a little bit. And in the middle part of the show, the final three matches and the Christian Cage announcement were awesome. I really liked those parts. Besides the ending, I mean, that final explosion. Talk about a disappointment, man. I have no idea what that was. That was really embarrassing. That was an embarrassing finish to what was a chaotic and very violent, and I thought an amazing exploding barbed wire death match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. We're going to talk about it. So I thank you guys for joining me here tonight on the channel. If you have not already, make sure you go check out my first episode, episode 1 of the Big Fight Fuel podcast. If you haven't checked that out already, go check that out. And for those who did and commented on it and sent me DMs about what they thought about it, I appreciate all of you for the success of episode 1, and I cannot wait for episode 2 of the Big Fight Fuel podcast next weekend. So let's just get into tonight's show. I'm not going to talk about the buy-in. Just to save time here tonight, it was Britt Baker and Maki Ito against Thunder Rosa and Riho. Good match for what it was. Might have went a little bit too long, but Baker and Maki Ito got the victory. But let's talk about the main card. The main card started out with the AEW Tag Team titles, where Chris Jericho and MJF challenged the Young Bucks for the Tag Team Championships. This was a great opening match, and I couldn't think of a better way to open the show for Revolution. This turned into a match that I was looking forward to based off of the personal rivalry that the Bucks have had with Jericho and MJF going into this. And I thought this was a really good match. Jericho was able to hang in there with the Young Bucks. It had some great moments where the Bucks were going for the Meltzer driver on MJF. And while Jericho was going for the Jericho hit the code breaker onto Nick Jackson, and MJF did his middle rope finisher to Matt Jackson, and that was a very close near fall for MJF and Jericho. After that, MJF went for the Salt of the Earth submission hold to Matt Jackson, with Nick Jackson breaking it up. They both, Bucks, hit multiple super kicks onto MJF. They hit BTE trigger onto Jericho. Jericho barely kicked out, but then MJF gets knocked down with a double super kick. Meltzer driver to Chris Jericho, and the Young Bucks retained the AEW World Tag Team titles in what I thought was a really good opening match. And I would not be surprised if this went down as one of the best matches, favorite matches of the night. This was a really good opening tag team match, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really did enjoy this match. I was a little sour on it when Jericho and MJF won, but I thought it was a really good match overall. Then we went into the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale, where the winner would face the Young Bucks for the tag team titles on a later date. So I'm just going to go through this match very quickly. It was fun. Overall, it was a pretty fun battle royal. You had some good moments. Some points that stand out during the match were when Jurassic Express. Some of the points I'm going to point out early on. QT Marshall eliminated both members of the Gun Club, and the Gun Club got pretty angry because they're a part of the Nightmare family with QT Marshall. And Dustin Rhodes was like, "What are you doing? That's our family right there. You just eliminated our family." QT's like, "This is for a shot at the titles. This is for the tag team championships." And then he says, "You know what? I'm out." He goes over the top rope and he just flat out leaves the match. QT Marshall eliminates himself, and he's like, "You know what? Screw Dustin Rhodes." So are we looking at QT Marshall turning heel and leaving the Nightmare family? I have no idea where that goes, but we'll have to see. So that was a big point in the match. A terrible botch. I know that people have made a meme on social media already. Was when the Jurassic Express were out there. Luchasaurus was eliminating all these guys. Marco Stunt hit a Hurricane Rana on the Evil Uno, and I guess Uno was supposed to fall to the ground. He did not fall to the ground with Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt hit it, and he fell on his own. Then Evil Uno just kind of stood up there. He ran to the turnbuckle, and he basically eliminated himself. That did not look good at all. That looked very sloppy. And Evil Uno basically eliminated himself from the Battle Royal. So then after that, we came down to John Silver and Alex Reynolds of Dark Order, SCU, Pac and Ray Phoenix, and Jungle Boy. Ray Phoenix eliminated Daniels. I believe Alex Reynolds was eliminated by Pac. Jungle Boy eliminated Kazarian. And then the final four. This was an excellent exchange between Pac and John Silver. They went at it. That was very good. With Pac eliminating John Silver of the Dark Order, who was my dark horse pick. And then Jungle Boy, he eliminated Pac. And then this final sequence between Jungle Boy and Ray Phoenix was absolutely incredible. It was a great final sequence between these two guys, with Ray Phoenix getting the victory for himself and Pac, and they are the #1 contenders for the tag team titles. They will challenge the Young Bucks. This was a fun battle royal for what it was, and the tag team title match between Phoenix and Pac against the Young Bucks should be amazing. It should be an amazing tag team match. And we're getting a one-on-one match Wednesday night between Rey Fenix and Matt Jackson. I'm seriously looking forward to that match. That'll be a match I'm really looking forward to on Wednesday night. We then had Ryu Mizunami against Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. I didn't really have high expectations for this match. I knew the match would be good. But I just didn't really care for it that much. But they turned out to have a really good match. I had a lot of near falls. At some point, Mizunami went for the top rope leg drop, which she connected. And I thought that would be it. She was going to win. But Shida kicked out. And then after that, they had a very hard-hitting exchange. And the match was just very hard-hitting. Shida hit the Falcon Arrow, which I thought would be it. Mizunami then hit a devastating clothesline onto Shida. Shida then went for a knee strike into it, which kicked out. And she went for another Falcon's Arrow, in which she got the 1, 2, 3. And she pinned Ryu Mizunami to retain the AEW Women's Championship in a really good women's match. But it'll probably be a match that nobody talks about on the show. After the match, Nyla Rose and Maki Ito, who was in the buy-in match, they come out and attack Shida and Ryu Mizunami. Britt Baker was leading the charge, so it was them three attacking Shida and Mizunami. And then after that, Thunder Rosa came out for the save. She cleared the ring. And this set up a 6-woman tag for Dynamite, where it will be Thunder Rosa, Shida, and Ryu Mizunami against Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito. So we got that. I thought this was a really good women's match. Mizunami has impressed me in the match with Yuka Sakazaki, in the match with Nyla Rose this past Wednesday. And in tonight's match with Hikaru Shida, I thought she had a really good match. I knew she wasn't going to win. This was just a match to get to the inevitable, which I'm going to bring up a lot, and I've already had the inevitable of Britt Baker taking the Women's Championship off of Shida. And I think with the post-match attack and what could happen on Wednesday, this is the start of Britt Baker taking the Women's Championship and beating Shida. Because, yeah, if Mizunami was to take the Women's Championship off of Shida tonight, what's going to have a bigger impact? Britt Baker beating Ryu Mizunami for the Women's Championship, or Britt Baker defeating Hikaru Shida, who had a year-long reign as the AEW Women's Champion? I would take Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker, that scenario. So I thought this was a really good match, and we'll have to see what happens with the build. And then after this, we had Miro and Miro and Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. This match should have either been on the buy-in or it should have been saved for Dynamite. And I hate saying that because Orange Cassidy is my favorite wrestler in AEW right now. It has been for a long time. But I could have cared less about this match. Was making my dessert on my phone. I didn't really care. Miro he Irish whipped Orange Cassidy into Penelope Ford, and he didn't look that concerned when he accidentally hit Penelope Ford. And that could be a sign of Miro breaking away from Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, which needs to happen as soon as possible. And then we have an exchange between Taylor and Miro. Miro gives Chuck Taylor a super kick. He puts him in the accolade, or in game over, which he calls it. He taps Chuck Taylor out. Miro gets the win for his tag team. And we need to break Miro away from Kip Sabian as soon as possible. As soon as possible. This is probably the weakest match on the entire night. And like I said before, this should have been on the buy-in, or this should have been a match for Dynamite. This did not deserve to be on the main card on a pay-per-view. And then we went into the big money match between Matt Hardy and Adam Hangman Page. They had a good match. Alright? They had a good match. They told a solid story. But at some points during the match, I felt bored. I felt bored watching this match. It was going too slow for me. It might just be me. You guys might have thought this was a very good match. They had a great story and all that stuff. And good on you thinking that. Good on you. But I just wasn't the same about all of this. I did not really like the pacing of this match. It was just too slow for me. And the ending was great. I'm going to give the match that. The ending was great. Private Party came out there to distract Hangman. And the game plan of, we want to give Matt Hardy time, because this was when he was hit by the Deadeye by Hangman Page. He wanted to give, Private Party wanted to give Matt Hardy time to recover. He did that. He hit a twist of fate, I think. And then the Dark Order, everybody from the Dark Order came out and attacked Private Party and had them laying. And Matt Hardy hit Hangman. All members of the Dark Order caught him. They threw him up on the apron, and he connected buckshot lariat to Matt Hardy and got the 1, 2, 3. Hangman Page is a rich man. Hangman Page won the big money match against Matt Hardy, and all the members of the Dark Order hugged Hangman Page after the match. Colt Cabana gave Hangman Page a beer, of course, and he walked off with the Dark Order. Does this mean that Hangman Page is officially a part of the Dark Order? I don't think so, but you know, maybe they're going to announce it Wednesday. Maybe Hangman Page is going to say Wednesday on Dynamite, I'm officially a part of the Dark Order. We'll have to see what happens, but I can easily see this feud continuing, and I could see Hangman Page spending giving Matt Hardy's money from Q1 earnings to members of the Dark Order. So I think that could be made for some fun television over the next couple weeks. We then got into the Face of the Revolution ladder match. The big surprise was all ego. Ethan Page. Was not shocked by that. I'm glad to see him. He is officially all elite. I like his work. Good wrestler. And he's very charismatic. This was a really good ladder match. And this needed to be a good ladder match. Because at this point of the show, the final two matches, the two matches before that, slowed things down. Another criticism I had on the show was the pace, the match order. Like, you had all the weaker matches in the middle of the show, and you didn't spread it out, kind of like Full Gear. I didn't really like that decision at all. So, it had an effect on the show for me personally, but this was a really fun and good ladder match. Some of the main points that happened in the match was Lance Archer choke slamming Scorpio Sky through a ladder. Penta gave Cody a Canadian Destroyer onto the ladder, which made Cody leave the match for a little bit because of a shoulder injury. Then he came in started whipping everybody with his belt, and then at the end, it came down to Cody and Scorpio Sky on the top of the ladder. Sky shoves Cody off the ladder. Scorpio Sky grabs the brass ring, and Scorpio Sky will go on to challenge Darby Allin for the TNT Championship this Wednesday. I was actually pretty surprised by this outcome. I thought Scorpio Sky was still a little bit injured. His time will come, but he is not going to win this match. I thought it would make sense for Penta to win the match, considering that Pac and Rey Fenix are the number one contenders for the tag titles. Now it just leaves Penta not really doing much. So I have no idea where that goes with Penta, but I can already say that Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin is going to be a fantastic match on Dynamite Wednesday for the TNT Championship, and that is something I can get behind easily. And then we had the big signing. This had social media buzzing for days. It had social media buzzing for days. Everybody was speculating who is going to come out as this big signing. It turned out to be none other than Christian Cage. Christian Cage came out. He signed his contract. And Christian Cage is all elite. I love it, man. He looked really good in the Royal. It's crazy. He was in the Royal Rumble match a month ago. Literally a month ago. And then he didn't come to a term deal with WWE. And now he is with AEW. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Good for him, man. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but Tony Khan said he's going to do great things. He's committed. And he's one of his favorite wrestlers of all time. So Tony Khan is one of Christian is one of Tony Khan's favorite wrestlers of all time. I know there will be people that will be disappointed. Oh, Christian's not Hall of Fame worthy. Christian's a mid-card guy. Meanwhile, these people on social media were begging for Christian to be in the WWE Hall of Fame for years, and now he's in AEW, and they're like, oh, Christian's not this big signing and all that. I'm excited. Is he going to move the needle for AEW? Is he going to put them to 1 million viewers on TNT? No, I don't think he's going to do that, but I think he is going to do good things. I do trust Tony Khan with Christian. We'll have to see what happens with Christian Cage. I'm excited. We'll have to see what happens. And then we got into the street fight, which it's a tough call between this and the main event. But if I had to pick one, with the terrible ending from the main event and the embarrassment, this was my favorite match of the night. This was incredible. It was Brian Cage and Ricky Starks versus Sting and Darby Allin. This was incredible. It was cinematic. They were fighting in some huge warehouse. Darby Allin and Sting got an incredible entrance where they were followed into the ring by a bunch of people wearing Sting and Darby Allin masks. You had Darby Allin riding on a skateboard behind where Sting was driving. Cage and Starks in the ring. The visual, the location, the background music was so fitting for this match. Taz was on commentary. He was a great touch in this match. All of this was a huge success. Kudos to really everybody who took place in this street fight. I don't know about you guys, but this kind of gave me vibes of the Boneyard match at WrestleMania last year. I'm not going to go over the match move by move. I don't really want to get into that right now. But if you want to know what happened move by move, you got to go watch the match. This was incredible. Sting looked awesome in this match. He pinned Ricky Starks with a Scorpion Deathlock. It was bound to happen. No one else was taking the pin in that match besides Ricky Starks. But it was incredible. It was an incredible street fight. And one of the best, by far, besides the main event, by far the best thing on the show. And it wasn't even close. And I think this was the perfect culmination to the Sting Darby, the Darby Allin feud against Team Taz. Where these guys go from here, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like to me that Team Taz loses every single match that has big stakes. Cage lost to Darby Allin for the TNT title. Cage and Starks lost this match. Cage lost to Moxley. I have no clue where Team Taz goes from here. They were kind of getting into it with Cody Rhodes back in November when Cody was in the feud with Darby Allin. If we were to get a separate feud with Cody Rhodes against Team Taz, and you had the segments again between Cody and Taz over the FTW Championship, and you can have Brian Cage versus Cody for the FTW Championship at the next paper. I think that's what's next. I think that's where Team Taz goes next. I think they move on to Cody Rhodes. They were feuding in November, and then Sting came in, and it was Sting and Darby versus Team Taz. I think Team Taz goes back to Cody, and I think Darby goes on to he beats Scorpio Sky Wednesday night. And then it's on to Pac, maybe. I'm not so sure, but we'll have to see. And then we get the main event. The exploding barbed wire death match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. This was everything you would have expected. This was chaotic. This was violent. This was brutal. And folks, this was amazing. This was an amazing match. Again, I don't want to go into it move by move because it's late. It's over midnight now. But it was a crazy scene. You had Omega going into the barbed wire face first. Moxley paradigm shift Omega onto the barbed wire. Moxley went into the barbed wire. Gallows and Anderson came out to help Omega, and the match ended where Omega hit the one-winged angel onto Moxley on a steel chair. And it was only one-winged angel. And I thought Moxley was going to kick out because I thought the match was going to end when all the explosions went off. But I don't know. I think they're going to save that moment for Hangman Page when he has his match with Kenny Omega for the world title. And he's going to hit the one-winged angel on Hangman Page. And Hangman is going to be the first person to ever kick out of the one-winged angel. And that'll be his big moment. But as awesome and amazing as this match was, the bad thing about it is everybody on social media is going to be talking about the ending and how disappointing and weak that was. So at the end, the countdown was going on for the big explosion. You had Eddie Kingston, Butcher and Blade attacking Omega and the Good Brothers. Eddie Kingston runs into the ring to protect Jon Moxley from this explosion. He tried to sell this the best he could. He tried to sell the hell out of this but it ultimately failed. You had sparkles go up, and then you just had smoke go up in the air. And it wasn't a huge explosion that happened in the ring in the moment. And they wanted something that is going to write Moxley off of television. I don't know if that was it, man. That was incredibly weak, and that was very disappointing to an ending of what was an amazing exploding barbed wire death match, and I think a match that's going to be remembered. So that's all I got about that. Overall, like I said, the show was very good tonight. I'm not saying it was bad. This pay-per-view was a very good show, but it was lagging at some points, and it definitely had its ups, but it had its downs as well. So we'll have to see what happens on the fallout on Wednesday and leading into the future for AEW. But ladies and gentlemen, that is your Revolution review here tonight on the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you who tuned into the review. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for a fresh new week of content. I will post a schedule on my Twitter sometime tomorrow night before Raw. Comment down below your thoughts about the Revolution pay-per-view tonight. Hit that like button if you like what you heard from me in the video. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Monday Night Raw review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.